All right, if you want to learn how to slow down the ball and your opponents are constantly attacking you and you want to learn how to reset the ball to neutralize the point, this is the video that you need to watch. We're going to explain from the very beginning on how I can develop that feel to slow the ball down when players are banging at me or hitting it really hard. Now, let's jump right in. All right, slowing the ball down or resetting, super important part of the game. As you get higher and higher in level, this becomes more and more important. We're gonna start from the basics, how we can actually attempt to do this, and then we're going to develop into some tougher drills and actually more difficult situations. So, very simply, when we slow the ball down, the biggest key thing that you need to keep in mind is that we don't add pace to the ball. That's the most important thing. Lots of players, they don't really realize this, but they're actually adding a ton of pace when they're actually trying to slow it down. So what we need to do is take the most pace off, and we need to be in a position that is very stable. So my feet has to be stable and my paddle has to be stable. Those are the two things. If I could keep both of those stable, I have a good chance of actually controlling the ball. Now, whether you're resetting with one hand or two hands, I'm gonna show you both in this video. I recommend a continental grip, and because that allows you to get that paddle face open, because this is what we need to hit good resets. So grip pressure, number one, it has to be fairly light. I would say a 4 out of 10. Number two is gonna be that open paddle face. And then number three is going to be the stability at contact. So I have my friend Dawson here. So we gotta start small. So for those of you who are gonna see this right now and you're gonna see me slowing the ball down, these balls won't be very hard, but we're gonna work up to where like gameplay scenarios where they get really hard and fast so that I can actually work up to that. So right now I'm gonna start with my ready position. I like to hold it slightly to the backhand, and I'm gonna do one hand right now. And the biggest key thing you're gonna see, you can probably see in this camera here, is I'm gonna turn my paddle, right? I'm just gonna turn it out and I'm just gonna block. This is like a block, okay? So a lot of people talk about how you have to like guide it in or reset it in. You really don't, we don't have to make it that complicated. I just need to turn with my paddle open and my grip pressure light, and I need to not add pace. So here we go, Dawson, let's go. Take like 5, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I know Dawson is hitting medium pace balls to me, right? Like right now, like even slow balls. But you're not gonna be able to get the feel unless you start this slow. So that's really important. A big mistake that I tend to see is players are actually stabbing at the ball, or there's just a lot of movement during or after contact. So I see a lot of this. Dawson, feed me the same balls. So even though they're trying to keep their paddle stable, they're moving their paddle like a punch volley. So if you're doing this, obviously that ball is gonna come off your paddle face, you know, a lot more than you need to. So, you know, we can go back and play some of the clips how I'm really, really still, and all I have to do is let my paddle do the work. So now we're gonna hop into two hands. So Dawson, kind of feed over here if you can, and same thing, I'm gonna put my left hand on top for those of you who are, you know, who hit two-handed backhands already. But if we wanna learn how to reset the ball, same kind of idea. I think the important thing here is my right wrist as a right-handed player is relaxed, and I actually could get in this position. You probably can see it from this camera. Like, we don't want to be like this. We actually want to be in this relaxed position with my wrist like this, so I can actually relax my wrist and keep my hand here. Here we go. So I'll try some two hands. There we go. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay. So again, my paddle face is gonna be open. With the two-hander, just naturally how my wrist lays here, my paddle head is gonna be dropped a little bit more, right? When I'm hitting one hand, it's gonna be like this. Two hands is gonna be dropped in this position. So whatever you choose, That's what's really important. And notice my stability, I'm not moving around a ton, okay? So now we're gonna actually back it up, and he's gonna hit me the same pace, but now I'm gonna be about, you know, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 feet from the non-volley zone. And now I might have to give it a little bit, but the big key tip here is that it's not a punch volley. So send me a ball, actually, Dawson. I see a lot of players trying to reset like that, and if you look at my swing, let's see that one more time. If you look at the swing here, right, it's linear, right? So if I'm up at the line and I want to actually attack, that's okay. But when I'm resetting from my shoulder, and I'm actually lifting up. So very, very slightly. So we're gonna do 5 here from this position, Dawson. 1, ooh, one a little bit high, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now let's talk about trajectory. That last one was really good. A few of those were a little bit high. I have to calibrate that, but again, the goal of a good reset when someone is hitting at you is to get the ball to bounce, okay? So if you don't get the ball to bounce, you're gonna be in trouble, and they're gonna be taking the ball out of the air and taking time away. If that ball is going too high or too far, right? So again, Dawson, if your balls are going like that and they're going way too far like that, right? We are simply just pushing out or up way too much. We just need to really keep it as simple as possible. One of the things I like to say is, what's the softest I can hit it, or the least movement I can hit it to still get the ball to bounce. Before we jump back in, I wanna make sure you know about our Attacking Masterclass. It's packed with drills and insights that will show you how to take control of your opponents and attack like a pro so that you can be the most dominant player on the court. It's completely free. Just go to attackmasterclass.com and sign up. Now, let's get right back to the video. So stay tuned, because I know he's hitting these fairly soft, but we're gonna work it up to, and you're gonna see how I use the same concepts, the same technique, even against really fast balls, okay? So that was 4 feet behind the line. Now I'm gonna show you 2 hands. Again, I'm gonna drop my paddle down here, and with the 2 hands, I'm actually gonna be lifting from both shoulders. This is gonna be very, very slight. I may use my legs a little bit, but the key thing is that I'm lifting with my shoulders here, and one hand is with my right shoulder, okay? Here you go, Dawson. 1, 2, 3. Now I do want to mention something. When we're in transition specifically, okay, you can see in this camera that you're gonna be taking the majority of these as backhands. And you'll see even in those last few, I'll even come over here. Basically, why don't I just come to a forehand here? Again, the higher the ball is and when it's getting attacked at me, it's just easier, and I have a bigger range of motion when I am defending with my backhand. So again, we're gonna get to some faster balls here. We're gonna talk about ready position. At times I will hold my ready position here at 12 o'clock. But again, when I'm on extreme defense and he's attacking me, I'm gonna get to my backhand because I know that I can cover a lot with my backhand, okay? So now that I'm 4 feet behind, I'm gonna go about 6 to 8 feet behind the line here. So this is the deepest transition that I kind of want to reset in. So for those of you who are practicing your resets, there's nothing wrong with practicing resets right here, right? But in a realistic game, I'm probably not going to be here. If I hit a drop or a drive, I want to come up to a fairly good position and hit my split step so that I'm very balanced and I'm not really crazy far from the baseline, okay? So we're gonna go from right here, Dawson, go ahead. So again, lifting with the shoulder. There's no movement there's no other movement in my wrist or anything. All I'm doing is lifting from here, okay? 3 more, here we go. There we go. And 2 more, 1, 2, all right? So again, when you miss it into the net like that, the biggest culprit of that is usually it's a little bit off center. So yes, I can adjust, like that last one went into net, I can adjust how much I lift, but I could tell that was just a little bit off center. So keeping your eye on the ball is really huge. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing, Dawson, and I'm gonna go some 2 hands, okay? So I'm gonna show you guys what that looks like here. Okay, those are good. Notice how wide my stance is as well. Okay. Okay, and arc over the net, I just wanna quickly talk about that, right? We're trying to find the balance between what's too high and what's too low. If I am aiming over the net this low, yeah, these balls they could be good, but again, my margin is not gonna be great, right? So obviously I don't wanna be going way high, but I do wanna give myself good margin over the net so that I'm actually, you know, getting it over consistently, okay? So even the pros, you will see them at times when they're digging out balls, a lot of times they have a lot of height on the ball, but they're ready for the next reset and they know how to get back into the point, because the whole purpose is that we, you know, dig ourselves out of the point when we're on defense or if we're trying to get to the net. Okay, so now those are the basics of the reset. Really important, make sure that you're actually lifting up and not punching out, and you have a really stable base. So now we're going to play a more realistic kind of point here. I'm gonna start 4 feet behind the non-volley zone, and Dawson, you can actually keep attacking me with pace. One of the things that I'm gonna try to do, obviously Dawson has to keep these in, but if it's blatantly out, like shoulder high, super high, I'm gonna try to let it go, but I'm gonna actually utilize my resets here. He can hit as hard as he wants, but what you're gonna notice and what you're gonna realize, if you can get the ball to bounce, there's always a limit of how hard he can hit it. So he can't hit it at 100 miles an hour and keep it in. So that's why practicing this, and you'll see in a second, it's actually hard to get it past me if he's attacking me and if I'm getting the ball to bounce, and that's the most important thing. Dawson, we're gonna go to 5 points, okay? So he has to control his shots as well. Okay, so 1-0. So those balls right there, they're a little high, right? I have good margin over them. I would like to get them a little bit lower, but I'm giving myself margin to stay in the point. So 1-0, we're going to 5. Okay, here we go. So 2, here we go. Good, okay. So that's a good one. 2-1, here we go. Okay, 3-1, I think, or 3-2. Okay, good. Good, so that was a good one there. All right, 3-3, we'll call it 3-3. Okay. Oh, all right. 4-3. Game point here. Okay. Oh, okay. All right, so 5-3 now. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go 8 feet back. I'm gonna go from here, and then we're gonna talk about how, just some strategy tips when you're deep in transition. All right, so for those of you in the beginning of video who saw those resets and, oh, those resets are really easy, he's really hitting really soft, this is where we put it into practice. And I just wanna mention that you cannot get to this point that I'm gonna show you right now where I'm hitting reset after reset unless you practice the foundation and the basics. So it's really important to start up at the line, like I just said, go 4 feet back, start there, and then start to get comfortable with your partner or ball machine hitting at you faster and faster. Now we're gonna see it in reality. Now a couple tips here in transition. Remember, we could be on the defense, either we're pushed off the non-volley zone line, or after my 3rd shot and maybe I get stuck here on my 5th or 7th, these are shots that I need to work on slowing down so that we can buy time and get in. All right, so Dawson, now we're gonna play out some points to 5. We'll call this game survivor, okay? So I'm just trying to survive. Now Dawson, you're working on your 4ths and being really aggressive, so, but also you have to, again, if I send you balls that are unattackable, again, the whole point of this is if I could get the ball to bounce reasonably in front of him, then he is limited on what he can attack back. So this is the whole goal. Okay, so 0-0, we're gonna go to 5 here. All right, he went for the Ernie. This is also why you keep your resets. Again, when I'm aiming my resets, I keep it kind of right in the middle. I try to stay clear away from the sideline so that I give myself the best chance, okay? So 1-0, 1-0. I'm warmed up now. Here it is. Oh, all right, 2. So again, this has come in hours and hours, seriously, hundreds of hours of practice. So if you're watching this and it doesn't look easy, it's not, and it's because I put in the work and time, and I know you can do it too if you go through those progressions. All right, 2-0. Here we go. Oh. So look how like balanced I am as well. My feet aren't moving, right? Even if there's a high ball, I'm gonna try not to panic. If there's a high ball, I'm gonna actually drop my paddle lower because I know it's gonna come down. All right, 2-1. Good ball, that's a good one. All right, so 2-2. Here we go, Dawson's making it interesting. Oh, 2-3. Little miss hit there. Okay, 3-all. A little greedy there, 3-all. Here we go. Okay, that's all right, man. 4-3, here we go. Ooh, that was had tough balls there. Oh! All right, 4-4. Win by 1 or 2, Dawson?
2.
All right, should have said a 1. Should have said a 1. Now I'm gonna get dialed. Oh, shoot, that's a good ball. That's a good ball. All right, 4-5. 4-5, Dawson, here we go. See if I can really get dialed in. Oh, okay, all right. So again, takes a lot of practice. Go out there with a practice, do the progressions, and you're gonna get better in here. What I can tell you is no matter what level you are, especially as you cross that 4-0 plus, the better your resets get here, the better player you're gonna be and the more comfortable you're gonna feel out there. All right, so thanks for watching. See you in the next video. I'm warmed up now, here it is. Oh!